Welcome, guys, to Prepared episode 31, your weekly TBC breakdown. And lately, a little bit of the Season of Mastery breakdown as well, just for the constant changes. But we got a lot of good stuff.
A lot of classic WoW stuff.
Yeah, classic WoW. But it doesn't have the same ring. It doesn't have to say your classic. No, it doesn't really have the same ring. But welcome, guys. So we got the Riot games, Arcane. I know it's not WoW related, but it is WoW related because it's really to do with the whole MMO space and how marketing is really changing. And Arcane's kind of taking the entire gaming section by storm recently. If you have any gaming friends,
I think Arcane has done what many game companies have always wanted to do, and that's break into the mainstream.
Mainstream, yeah.
Because Arcane's ratings are insane to the point that people who have no idea about League of Legends or anything like that are checking it out. Like, yeah. I believe it had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and it has a 9.4 on IMDb, which puts it in like the top 5 highest rated shows of all time.
Yeah, it's like, insane. It's insanely good,
which is insane.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that today, and then we do have a lot of WoW stuff to cover, or a little bit of WoW stuff to cover with the SSC nerf and then unnerf. But technically, it was never nerfed because it never went through. So that's going to be an interesting topic in itself for the boss nerfs. And then they've got free character transfers coming up, some hotfixes, and then we got some Season of Mastery stuff to go over. But yeah, how you doing, Zareen? Are you still on your healthy wake up early-ish schedule?
Yep, we were on time today, so is good. It's one of those things where like I open my window more, so like light comes in, so I'm more awake earlier. But it means that if people walk by my window, they can see me sleeping. So and I'm on the first floor, so I just gotta make sure I am a pretty sleeper, or that I pull the covers all the way over. So, but otherwise, no. I actually think it's really healthy to look at the sun for any amount of time when waking up, right? Because it reduces your melatonin levels, helps you wake up.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess it's been a while since I woke up to the sun, because I've been on the reverse schedule with my previous 2 raids. One started at like 2 a.m. my time, and the other started at 10 to 11 a.m. my time. So the only way I could ever do both was just reverse sleep schedule.
Yeah.
So I was a night person.
My GM is like that. He's always just like, it's like 10 p.m. my time, and he's like, it's 6 a.m. You ready to arena? like what? Yeah, and he's been up the entire night too because he's European. So we're NA guild run by a European man. So I don't know if that counts as a EU guild or not.
This is probably a good thing from everything I keep hearing about NA versus EU. It's it seems to be a good thing. Yeah. The more EU, the better. You can be like League of Legends where you have like NA teams, but like they're like 90% just Korean sometimes.
Yeah, it's like we were like number 1 US, and it's like just let nobody know that we're run by a European man. It's okay. Like we're NA guys.
I can't remember who it was. I was listening to some other podcast, if I remember right, and they were talking about how Overwatch League. They were trying to watch Overwatch League, and then when they're first getting into it, they were saying, "Oh man, wait, London has a city? That's cool. I'm from London." And then you look at the London team, and you're like, "Wait, these guys are all Korean. I can't. How do you relate to these guys? They're not from my hometown."
Yeah, it's interesting. But I mean, that even if they're not from your hometown, like that happens in sports all the time, right? Like it's I was like, it's the Chargers. They aren't in San Diego anymore. But I was like, a lot of those people aren't from San Diego. People transfer teams all the time. So, yep. Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of the teams, you see I know this is like off topic. You've seen the amount of off-season drama in League of Legends and such?
Yeah.
Yeah. So much stuff going on, man. It's funny, it's crazy how far esports has come in that. I still remember just not even knowing what League of Legends was and just seeing like, oh, this is the biggest thing on this Twitch website right now. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. And then watching like TSM Bay Life episodes where people were getting paid in merch to play League of Legends.
Oh yeah, dude. Mouse pads and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Dignitas thing. Which
Yeah.
fun fact. Dignitas, you of course know Dignitas, right? Like Scar was on that team and all that stuff. Eventually, they told us they have to go by Team Dignitas, right? Like we have to actually say teams' names the way they want us to.
Yeah.
So, for like Team Solo Mid, at one point they told us because they were branching into other games, you have to call them TSM. They're no longer Team Solo Mid. TSM does not stand for Team Solo Mid anymore because it didn't translate to other games because there wasn't like a mid lane, etc. So they were like, yeah, we're just TSM now. And for Dignitas, they were like, you have to call us Team Dignitas. And we were like, why? And they were like, because Dignitas is an assisted suicide service in Europe.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. Oh, got some good memes to be had there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Their motto is something like "Live with dignity, die with dignity." Like it was like, I was like, "Shit, dude." Well, because I think you can go to, if you Google Dignitas, let's see, Dignitas, CH, yeah, Dignitas, to live with dignity, to die with dignity. Yep, it's an assisted suicide program.
Although, if any org or company wants to pay us $200 million to change the name of the podcast, me and Zareen will be happy to do so for you. We'll do the TSM special. We can change our name to whatever you want for $200 million. Always on the table.
200 million. That didn't that just go up? I thought you said 2 million.
No, 200. I think that was what they paid, right? I think that was what TSM got paid, like 200 million or something, to change to add that like cryptocurrency thing into their name.
Yeah. What was the company? FTX?
It's like FTX, I think. Yeah, I think it's now they have to be TSM FTX.
Yeah, but I don't think they are on Riot Broadcast because Riot Broadcast is actually FTX sponsored.
Really? I didn't even know that.
That's how much money they had. Is they were able to buy like
both the team and right. Yeah. Okay.
It's your FTX replay. My friend who still works there is like, dude, this shit's getting out of hand. He's like, by the time he's like, I'll make you a bet. By 2022, the Nexus will be sponsored. So when the Nexus blows up, you have to say, and there goes there goes the FTX Nexus. Like, oh man. Because everything's sponsored now, right? Replays are sponsored. Post-game segments are sponsored. Baron Power Play is sponsored. Those types of things, right? Yeah. So like that's monetizing the esport. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way things are going. And yeah, everything's getting huge. But speaking of huge, Arcane, gigantic. Mm-hmm. I assume you've seen it as well, right? Oh, yeah. For people that don't know what me and Zareen are talking about, so Riot Games released Arcane, an anime based around League of Legends, basically. And this is relevant to the podcast because they are in the process of making an MMO. So this is like their world building. This is their world building and marketing that's going to be huge for the MMO. And honestly speaking, when I heard about Arcane, I wasn't expecting much because I thought it'd be the standard kind of, some cutesy animation, mediocre story, just get puts out there. And I wasn't expecting much. And at worst, it might have been like a very children-y kind of anime that got put out. But then when I actually saw it, I was actually blown away. I couldn't believe it was as good as it was. Like like a standalone, if I didn't play League of Legends, and I would just watch this, I would still watch it. It was amazing. It was a great 3 episodes. I can't wait for the next 3 episodes to come out.
Yep. It is groundbreaking. It is exactly what Riot wants to do in every space they go into. And I've talked about this before where like Riot doesn't really want to do anything unless it's genre defining. Like I said, like genre defining games, they want you to think, hey, MMO. Hey, they want you to think Riot Games instead of they want you to think WoW. Because right now, people say MMORPG, they think WoW or Final Fantasy. When you thought of like a game that was a like a Diablo 2 type game, you always thought like Diablo 2, obviously. You think RTS, you think StarCraft. So MOBA for League of Legends, and then they want, like, when you think of shooter or tactical shooter, you think Valorant. When you think of any TV show that's based on a video game, they want you to think Arcane. And that's what they do, is they spend so much time and they have so much fucking money to work on these things behind closed doors until it's good. And I've said this before about why I think the Riot MMORPG is going to be good, is because they are going to work on it until it is ready, right? And they have so much money from how successful League of Legends and Valorant has been, and how much money Tencent has, and how much Tencent trusts them as a company now to run themselves, that it will be good. Like, no matter what, it will be good. But it doesn't. But that means that you don't know what time it's going to come out, right?
Yeah.
You have like 3 things, and you only get to choose one of them. It's like quality, time, and money, right? So how much money are you going to spend on this thing? How much time is it going to take you? Well, at that point, if you are trying to spend like less money and you're trying to get it out quickly, well, it's probably not going to be very good. So Riot Games has the luxury of being able to do 2 of those, and that's put as much money as they want into it to increase the quality, but that means the time it's going to take to get it out is probably longer, but that's a good thing. So I feel very passionately about this, because I think that Riot Games as a company is becoming a behemoth of gaming, and they will be able to take over every genre because of how much they're able to invest into every single game that, like, an indie studio, a like company that started up just like Riot Games did with 2 guys in a garage, that won't be something that Riot will be able to, like, or people will be able to do to contest Riot, because Riot's working on a fighting game, right? They're working on so much around their IP. They have this MMORPG coming out, and they are able to spend so much money on it. It will be good pretty much no matter what. And they said with Arcane, they were working on it for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right. So they were able to keep these people on payroll doing something that had 0 fucking results for 6 years. Think about the number of people that went into that, right? And how many people had to be brought in during the process? How many people had to be replaced? Maybe somebody got fired. Somebody got replaced. They didn't like the direction, etc. 6 years. 6 years of pay for all these guys, and they're getting $0 in return because they're not getting any money for the product they're putting out at the time, right? It's an investment into the future. So it's like, you don't know what it's going to look like in 6 years when you start putting money into it. I think that's like a big deal. So that's kind of just something that they are allowed to do, and not many other game companies can do, because they just don't have the resources to. It takes a lot of angel investors to actually pull something off like that, but Riot doesn't really need that anymore, because they can fuck around with their own money. It's kind of why, like, the LCS and the esports scene got to where it is with Riot, because what they did is they just went, this is a black hole of money. We have no idea how we make money from this, right? Yeah. You throw money at, like, the LCS casters, you throw money at, like, the game, the teams, etc. The teams, the arena. You go to, like, Madison Square Garden, buy it out, etc. Ticket sales don't make that shit back up, right? People watching online doesn't make that money back up. You don't have subs on your Twitch channel, none of that shit. How are you monetizing this? And they weren't.
I mean, that was the longest discussion for a long time. People hit on them for that sometimes, because they were like, dude, you guys have so many people watching League of Legends on these streams, and you have no monetization in place for the longest time. No sponsorships. Yeah. It's not like now where we have, like, the MasterCard Play and all that other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the earlier days of League of Legends, there was literally no monetization. It was just a really good show, pretty much.
And now the monetization is because people want to be in on it, not because they want monetization. It's like MasterCard wants to be in on it. You can go ahead and say, well, this is how many people watch. This is how much you have to pay us, right? Or this is the partnership we want to have. So it's something where I remember Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill one time when they were talking in like an all hands, basically, like a company meeting. They were saying, like, esports is a black hole of money that they just keep throwing money into, and they don't know where it's going, but it's working, right? Where it's like the KPIs don't directly correlate or show you how good it's doing. You can see viewers, all that stuff. You can see things go up, down in terms of the viewers, concurrent, all that shit, how well the season is doing. But does that translate directly into money for the company? They don't know. Until they started doing things like esports skins, right? Like the world skin, all that stuff. And that helps pay for it as well. And that's something that's, like, directly a result of the esports. So, yeah. So they basically, to get the long and the short of it, Arcane's fucking good because they've been able to work on it for so long and not release it until they thought it was really fucking good. And then, and also they broke the bank advertising for it, right?
Yeah, I see it everywhere.
They had shit for it everywhere. They lit up that fucking building in Dubai. They did so much shit for it, right? Because they have all that money to invest in it. Imagine if they did all that and it was not good. It was like it would be like, oh fuck, like, but they had so much time to do all of this, and they're really good about like their R&D and keeping it under wraps and not letting people know exactly like what's going on, or what they're working on. Everybody's like really heavily NDA'd. There's a building in the fucking back that like regular employees aren't allowed into. Like you can't even like tour in there or anything like that. And that's their R&D building. Like only people who have like an actual like they have a really heavy NDA are allowed in there. So it's really awesome to see that they're doing that, and it means that the other companies really need to leverage their IP better, especially like, you know, Blizzard, for example. They did stuff like this with the Warcraft movie, but that one was like a flop, right?
Yeah. That was what I was expecting Arcane to be when I watched it. I was like, oh, it's going to be like another Warcraft movie. Like, not the worst, but not great either. It's pretty mediocre. But completely opposite. And I'm showing people now, like, literally they built an entire cafe in Korea that was so popular for this Arcane anime launch, which is they're literally marketing the marketing at this point, because Arcane is marketing for their game and they're building a cafe to market Arcane. And in Korea,
no, you've got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. League of Legends has existed for 10 years to market this. The game was made for, the esports scene in the game was all made to advertise for Arcane.
Long con, I see
It's a
the
long con, right? They made a game so they could make a TV series, right? Like,
yeah, but it's crazy. I wanted to go because I'm in Korea and the cafe is in Korea here in Seoul, and I was gonna go. Then I got messages from my friends saying, dude, if you want to go, get it really early because apparently the line is insane just to get into and see the cafe, and it's just packed every day, and you can't get in. The line is just infinitely long, and so I never actually ended up going to the pop-up cafe because it was too popular. It was literally too popular for me to go.
Because they understand scarcity, right? They understand just having like only a few and making them a spectacle is a big deal, right? And they're able to pay people to work there during that time. They're able to, temp workers, etc., like all that shit. They're able to throw money at a lot of things, have it not pay off now, but they understand that it's worth more in the future. And that's what I think a lot of companies fucking suck at, is understanding the future of their IP and the future of their company without looking at the numbers, because the numbers are going to lie to you. If I told you that if somebody told me or asked me how much money did esports make Riot Games during the first like 4 years of the LCS from like 2013, I think it's the first year it was established, 2013 or 2012. I know like the first year it wasn't technically LCS. But yeah, anyway, it's like if they told me there's no way to show them that it made money, I'd be like, yeah, you're probably right. But you don't know if Bjergsen played a fucking skin of like, Syndra or something like that, and then somebody went, damn, I love Bjergsen, I'm gonna buy that skin. And that was literally like a direct, because of this, they bought this. And it kept people more invested in their sport. I fucking would have quit League of Legends longer before I did, way sooner before I did, if like the LCS didn't exist, right? Watching pro play, watching Worlds makes people want to play the game again. A spike in the play goes up.
Yeah,
so
I literally haven't played League in so long now, since I've been so busy with WoW. But I still get the itch when I watch Worlds, and I think, oh man, maybe I should log in and play a game. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, but if you were somebody who wasn't so far removed from it, you would definitely have jumped in, right? Like if maybe even for an ARAM or whatever, like those. I mean,
the amazing thing even now is that when I look at the things, I think, because my friend is like messaging me, because my mid champion pool is literally all the meta picks right now in Worlds. so he's like, dude, you're gonna get a skin. You're gonna get a really cool skin if they win here. And I'm thinking, oh wait, a skin? Well, I don't even play League right now, and I still kind of want, if they make a really cool skin, I might want to log in and buy that really cool skin that's limited time only. It's such good marketing. It's insane. I don't even play League, and I still want to log in and buy a cool looking skin for my favorite champion.
Yeah, it's just like it. It really is just brilliance when it comes to redefining kind of the format for everything. Because people used to laugh at Riot Games before they even released their game. There's actually a story of how, like, I think I might have told this before, where, like, you know how there's a collector's edition for League of Legends back in the day, and it's a box with a CD in it.
Oh, really? I didn't see that one.
Yeah. There's a League of Legends collector's edition from way back in the day. That's a box with a CD in it for a game that you download online.
Huh.
And the reason that existed is because they had gone from company to company, or investor to investor, pitching their game, and they would ask two things. They'd ask, how are you going to make money if it's free to play? And the other one was, can I see your box? Right? Because back then, 11 years ago, your game wasn't fucking legitimate unless you had a box. Unless you had a box for it. So getting people who were like more normie, et cetera, to actually invest in something, they had to appease them and be like, hey, look at this box. This box is awesome. So investing in something stupid like that actually pays off for them because they understand who they're targeting at the time. Which is something that I think Blizzard keeps missing the mark on, is who they're targeting and what they're doing with their world, because they really aren't investing in the right places. Like, we've talked about how much like their failure to communicate with the players, which they're doing a little bit better over time, has been hurting them a lot because players feel ignored, and then they give them time to like check out and go like play a different game. You don't like somebody who's doing customer service. How much fucking money is that person making you? Right? Like how much money is that person who's posting on the forums really making you? It's really hard to tell. But you have to understand that that person is doing a good job of like retaining, or if they're doing a good job of actually like making people more hardcore gamers or respecting the company more, because they're earning you things that are intangible. And it's very fucking hard as a company to understand that, especially a company like Activision or EA that are known for money grabs, right? So that's the thing that I think is really hard to get through to the corporate side of gaming, is that you need to invest in things that see zero fucking return, because you have to trust that the people that are doing it aren't milking you, but they're actually making something good, kind of like Arcane.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like when people ask me why I have so much faith in the Riot MMO to be good, in the past it was just because it's Riot, and every time I look at what Riot does when they build games and such, they just do good jobs. They build a good game. No matter what, they seem to build a good game. But then after watching the Arcane anime, it was the first time I actually got invested in thinking, this world would be pretty cool to play an MMO in, like the steampunk kind of world with like the good side and then the dark side as well. It's a cool world that they're building.
Their lore is incredibly rich. Like you're just looking at Piltover and Zaun. There is so much more to the world. There's the Shurima Desert, there's Demacia, there's Noxus, there's Ionia. There's so many fucking places, Bandle City, etc. There's so many fucking places that are actually rich with lore, beautiful landscapes, and they have spent a long time doing this. Like back when I would walk around the office, etc., there are like paintings now of landscapes of inspiration of like what the land looks like. If you go like Google like Ionia, they now have a more solid idea of what things look like. And they have really great world building that's going on now. And I believe it's not called the lore team. I think it's called the narrative team now. This is what the team is called. So they're building narratives. They're building worlds that people can get invested in them. And it's the specificity of the places that really brings them to life, right? The specificity of what it's like to be there, the feeling, the grunginess, or they're for Piltover, how bright it is, the architecture. They have a really good idea of what every building in every place looks like and how it's different from each other. And that's really like an incredible thing for this game. Or I guess this future for this game in the MMORPG, because they know very, very much so, because their artists are fucking brilliant. They know very much so what Ionia looks like architecture wise, what Demacia looks like, what Noxus looks like, and they're going to eventually make you understand what that is by showing it to you and showing how specific and different it is from each other. And I love that shit because that's the stuff that's going to keep people around. Even like Shreeman architecture, right? Like the almost like Egyptian inspired stuff. So it's and people have no idea what I'm fucking talking about. You Google these words and you might have you'll understand that they are really working hard on these things to bring it all together. Because investing in because God, they've had people like building and drawing like Ionia, for example, for years at this point. And the idea, and you're just like, what's the point? Like, what's the point? Like, how are you going to monetize
what's
this
your
shit?
ROI on this drawing of Ionia?
What is this? Like, why is this person spending so much time on this? And it's like, oh, to like create a feeling of like ambiance for the place, or then they leverage it in events like they did like the Cherry Blossom one with Yone's release. There's a lot of different things that they do with it that are subtle that eventually will make more sense in the future. It's really weird how I don't know if they're fucking brilliant or if they've stumbled upon this because they're just like nerdy gamers who are just like, we want to build a world. They just want to invest in the things they want to invest in. Like that was the thing that I think that's the thing I think separates them from the other game companies is they aren't investing in what's going to give them money in the future. They're investing in the things that they think are fucking cool. And that's things that because they have a lot of core gamers at that company, a lot of people who understand what they want to see and what other gamers want to see. That's what's going to make them money because other gamers are going to go, that's fucking cool, right? That's what I think is really the home run for them. Is that they understand because I've worked there. They're fucking gamers. Everyone, almost everybody who works there is a core gamer of some kind. And I remember for a long time they actually had to open this up because I think there was a problem where it was like they felt like people who didn't play League or like weren't a core gamer didn't really understand the gamer experience. But that doesn't always bleed very well into your legal team and like other teams that may not require like gaming experience to work there. But they always kind of lean towards that. So even people who are in departments that normally don't require any like gaming experience, they still want to hire core gamers. It helps you out because they want people to understand that experience and that and build things and come from that perspective. So that's why I think is always good is they're very empathetic to their audience because they are their own audience, right?
Here's a question though for you, Zareen. Do you think that they're going to build an MMO the way that we think of World of Warcraft and such? Because I've been having this discussion with a few people where it feels like the way old like the World of Warcraft style MMOs are going is that it's not a great model and it can be improved on the way that MMOs are built right now. In that it tends to just always have this big launch and then it falls off and it's like this. It's very grindy. There's a lot of certain elements in these MMOs that I'm not sure if it resonates that well with a modern audience. Because a lot of modern audiences don't find the same things interesting that it once did back when MMOs first got introduced and such. So I almost have this weird suspicion that they might make this Riot MMO an MMO, but with a very modern twist maybe, and have like maybe a better PvP structure and such. Because Riot's always done PvP. Every game they're just very good at implementing PvP and such. Yep. And elements and it's very reverse to how a lot of game companies approach MMOs because usually PvP is the thing you tack on to the MMO. But I wouldn't be surprised if like Riot put PvP as a centric focus of their MMO because they've always been very player versus player focused when in a lot of their games. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that?
I actually heavily agree because in a game like League of Legends, the replayability comes from the fact that you're going to have different people on your team, their team, different characters. Even if you play the same character with in the same composition, the next game you're against different people, so it changes. Every game is different, and that's like a big deal for replayability and how much people like want to play the game constantly. Whereas an MMORPG, every MMORPG that I've ever played, the goal of the game is to play the game less. from like a base standpoint, right? Like for example, for like World of Warcraft, you want to power up your character. You want to clear content so that you power up your character so you can clear the content faster, right? Like you just want to get stronger so you can do things faster and then be done with the game and get off for the week, or etc. Right? Every game is built so that you can play it less. So you think about I'll use Diablo 2 as an example, which actually has no end game, but people still play it. Diablo 2 is literally get magic find so you can find better items to get more magic find so you can get better items so that you can magic find faster so that you can get more items and better items faster. That's all it is, right? It's literally just that loop, and that's the gameplay loop at the end. And you need to find an MMO gameplay loop that's centered around PvP to constantly like engage people. That or infinite PvE, which is kind of something that like WoW was heading towards with like Mythic Plus and stuff. It's kind of like how like, you know, Slay the Spire, etc. It's like different with the roguelikes where you can get different powers every time. So the variance comes from, hey, I did this deck this time, I did this deck that time, I got these cards, etc. So you need to find a gameplay loop at the end that is engaging constantly for MMORPG players without being time consuming and not having a loop where the goal is to get to play the game less, right? You want them to play the game more. You want them to engage with it more and find it fun, where they aren't playing because it's a chore. They're playing because they want to, and that's the thing. Because League of Legends, what's the end game? There is no end game. It is the game, right? The game is you play it, you PvP, you get higher rank, or even don't rank, right? People play normals and ARAMs. The whole end game is to have fun.
Yeah.
Or flame. I don't know. Some people find that fun.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so paramount to like the MMORPG genre is people need to find that next gameplay loop at the end to find real end game that keeps players engaged, because a lot of players don't like PvP, right? You can't force players to PvP and have that be the end game, because like people were talking about New World and I was like, oh, what's the end game? And they were like, it's all PvP. And as somebody who like enjoys PvE, it wasn't that interesting to me, right? So I don't know what the solution is, but Riot Games has a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of people to figure out how to make PvP and PvE both interesting in that world, and have it be something that people want to engage in, right? And have that be the core gameplay loop at the end.
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't know what the solution is, but like you said, they need to find something groundbreaking, or they have the time, resources, etc., to have that modern twist on it. Because the MMORPG stuff right now is kind of meh.
Yeah. It's one of the conversations I was going to with one of the people I was discussing this with was that they feel like, okay, if Riot makes this MMO with a modern twist, it's not built for them, or like the old school MMO player, but in a lot of ways that may be the path to go, because I don't know how many old school MMO players are left who enjoy like this. Like we're seeing Season of Mastery coming up now as well. I don't know if that's a wide enough market that Riot would want to capture that specifically. I think Riot wants to capture their own market, reinvent the genre, and just dominate it. And I don't think they're really aiming to like what Blizzard is doing right now, where they're just trying to go back and get, hey, you guys remember this? Let's go back and do that thing again, right? I don't think that's the Riot goal. At least that's not the way they've always done their games when they launched them. But it's interesting. Oh man, it's so exciting. The worst part about Arcane is that now I'm hyped for the Riot Games MMO, but we're still so long away from it. We're still so far away from it. But I guess they got a lot of time to build up the world and get people hyped. But we're still, we don't know, like a couple years, 2-3 years maybe away from it. We don't know how far away we are from this MMO, because we don't even really have a name for it, unless they're gonna name it Arcane as well.
Don't know when it'll come out. Don't know any of that stuff. But it's actually funny because God, what was it? It was Valorant. The way the A's in Valorant are like stylized, or at least the whole like way it looks. Yeah, it was really fucking funny because somebody who internally worked on Valorant told me when Apex Legends came out, they went, those motherfuckers. And we were like, I was like, why? And they were like, because Valorant internally, I believe, was called Project A. Let me see. Project A Riot Games. Is that what it was? Yeah. It was originally called Project A. And the A that they used internally on Project A was the exact same A that Apex uses as their stylized A in Apex Legends. Because somebody who worked on Project A, who left the company or got fired or whatever the fuck, went over to Apex and was like, hey, this is a really good idea for this. And because Project A is not fucking like trademarked or anything like that, they were just like, hey, by the way. So they like to keep things really under wraps now. Like really under wraps. So like even I don't know. Somebody was saying like, oh, I know about like the Riot Games MMORPG. I actually know zero about it. I actually know fucking nothing about it.
That's what someone who knows a lot about it would say, Zyrene.
No, they'd say they're NDA'd. Like, I don't have any NDA regarding like Riot Games MMORPG, and I know nothing about it. Like zero. I didn't know anything about Arcane, and they were working on that for like 3 years while I was there. Right, so.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's actually crazy to think that they were working on that for so long, actually.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's man, it's like I just hope the next 3 and 6 episodes, I guess total, will be as good as the first 3, because that was actually amazing. How good the first 3 episodes were.
Yeah. It's really funny too, because most of the time, when somebody like releases a TV series, the first episode is always the most viewed and highest rated, right? And it's like, oh, like first episode really got me hooked, and then it just goes down from there. Episode 3 is actually the highest rated one out of all 3, which is really funny because I don't know if that's a phenomena with the fact they released all 3 at the same time, or if it's just that was so much better than all the other ones, right? I don't know, right? It's actually really funny. Because like the first episode's rated like 8.7 or something like that, and then like the second episode is like a 9.0, and then the last episode is like a 9.7, right? Yeah. Like everybody loves episode 3. Episode 3 has like a lot of the payoff for all of the early shit. So they I don't know if it's just like that was just really incredible storytelling, but I also really like how they're handling it in acts and doing like almost like time skips between the acts. And how like everybody is kind of everybody is I really like the idea in the storytelling, kind of how like Game of Thrones did it early on, where it was like everybody is the hero of their own story. You jump around from person to person, and you really get their perspective, right?
Yeah.
And it's really kind of hard to hate certain people until they affect like another character in a negative way that you like more, etc. It's very, very difficult to. And that's why like you didn't really ever see from like Joffrey's point of view or get his perspective or have any empathy for him, because they never really built around that, and he was kind of just designed to be a certain
hateable,
way.
Yeah.
Be hateable. But like other characters like Jaime Lannister, etc. Even though they're on like quote unquote like the bad side towards the beginning, you still like sympathize with them, you still empathize with them. It's really funny because somebody was talking to me about like, they were like, you ever realize how much of a dick Echo is? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, in Arcane, Echo charges Jace twice the price for the normal item, because Jace went to that store down in Zon, right?
Yeah.
Is like apparently like where he got some shit. It's like he charged Jace double price for an item, followed him back to his apartment, told a bunch of fucking thieves where his apartment was, and got his apartment blown up to the point where Jace got ousted by the academy and his family and wanted to commit suicide. And you're just like, it's kind of a dick move. No, kind of a dick move to charge this guy double price, follow him back home, and give his address to a bunch of fucking thieves, right? It's like, what the fuck? But like you see it from their perspective, so they're like kind of heroes, right? They're like the heroes of their own story.
Yeah, like everyone's a hero and everyone's a villain at the same time. It's interesting, a really interesting way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're breaking rules and shit, but you always see it from their perspective, where they're like they're trying to help, right?
Yeah,
because people who do bad things typically are good people doing bad things, or see themselves as good people, and they don't always see the bad thing they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that was
good world building, good fucking storytelling. So
yeah. And again, I know this was supposed to be the World of Warcraft TBC podcast, but I think this is really relevant just because it's it's MMORPGs. This is the future of. Hey, we hope that Blizzard takes cues from this and is like, hey, you seen this Arcane thing? Maybe we go do stuff like this. Start pulling off stuff like this because clearly Riot knows what they're doing, at least with this, because they knocked it out of the park, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, it's an absolute grand slam. It's not even a home run. It's just all that payoff for the 3 bases being loaded. They did an incredible job.
Yeah, and
I think it only gets better here. Honestly, I really do. So
now, Zyrene, did you hear about the 600,000 gold Ashes of Alar?
No.
so this photo was hopping around on Reddit and a bunch of other places, and it was like people were saying, oh, on a Chinese server, the Ashes of Alar mount went for 600,000 gold. This is what happens in a place where gold buying exists. And then people on my server looked at the names of the people on this list, and this is Whitemane. This is literally Whitemane. It's not a Chinese server. This Ashes of Alar went for 600,000 gold on Whitemane. So, not due to the Chinese gold influx or anything like that. It's literally just welcome to one of the biggest servers with a lot of GDKPs and everything.
I don't. So the thing about this that doesn't like. The thing about this that's insane to me is not the 600,000 gold for Ashes of Alar. It's the 55,000 for the Rod of the Sun King by Ouija. Like, wait, why is this 55,000 gold? Like, were there just some fucking rogues who really wanted this shit or something? Like, what the fuck? Who's in this GDKP?
Oh, welcome to Whitemane GDKPs, man. Look at the payout. Look at the payout. Payout without bonus, 24,000 gold. Split per group. Wait, what is this? 121,000.
I think split per group is like for 5 people.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah. But yeah, welcome to the crazy payouts of
how much did the main tank get?
Let's see, main tank. Oh, he got a 7,000 gold bonus. That's pretty nice. A 7,000 gold bonus for main tanking Frost Nation hybrid. Jesus. Well, yeah, this that's the interesting thing. I was talking to someone that just moved to Faerlina actually. And,
oh God, why? Horde side.
Horde side, yeah. And he was saying like he was shocked that Faerlina's Discord is so bad. That Faerlina doesn't have a good community Discord. And apparently they're trying to set it up now. They brought over like the people who actually ran the Discord on the previous server and such, and they're trying to set up a proper Discord because
all the Faerlina Discord is it's literally a bunch of people fucking shit posting, Horde and Alliance teasing each other, channels getting archived every week just to be put in a fucking shitter and just be like, yeah, this happened. People linking like memeable stream clips of other people, and that's it. Like there's like literally 2 channels. Like where's this thing? Where's this fucking thing? Like, God damn it. Oh shit. Like I was gonna link you the Faerlina I can link you the Faerlina Discord, just like this is all the channels, right? Is like just archived shit. But I clicked on the archive one, the archive 4, and this is like a lock channel and shit. And like one of the last posts in that channel is just fucking boobs. It's like
okay, I'm not clicking on that.
Yeah. You can click the thing I sent you.
Yeah.
It's just like a lit server list.
Yeah. But
on Archive 4, it's like literally it's some chick who like cosplayed and had her boobs out when she EDG won, right? There's like some cosplayer that was like really happy that EDG won Worlds, and so she was just like, oh, titties. Like, yeah. There's a lot of boob, but a lot of boob.
It's actually insane that for such a big server, there's nothing, because on every other big server I've been on, so I played on FIMO, I played on Whitemane and such, there's a really, at least, there is a shit posting channel in those Discords, but they have a really good structure for like, okay, this is where all the GDKP's post. This is where you post if you want extra players for your raid. It's like really easy to find GDKPs and raids to join and find arena partners and things at least. But then when it comes to Faerlina, there's like nothing. It's just
a
like
Wild West over here, man.
It's a wasteland, and I don't understand. Like I was asking Bobka the other day. I was like, hey man, where do I look for GDKPs? Like, is there like a server Discord or something? And he's like, oh no, you just message someone and then they send you the link, basically.
Yeah. Like I'm just gonna go through the Faerlina archive here. There's like archive 1 is from February, and it just randomly got archived. They were like, no more going back in this chat. Archive 2, one of the last posts is like somebody fucking sleeping in bed, and that's it. The Archive 3, one of the last posts is Alinity with a hot dog. Like, oh, and then like one of the last posts in Archive 4 is Booba. So, yeah, and those are the 4 text channels, guys. There's 3 channels under a thing called Illegal Movie Nights, and that's it. It's just 3 voice channels. There's no text in there, and then there's 1 text channel. And it's called Wrath When. And that's it. Like when is Wrath coming out? And then the other 4 are just fucking text channels that are archived. You can't even interact with. So there's literally 1 text channel in the Faerlina Discord, and 3 voice channels nobody ever fucking uses.
It's actually mind-boggling because the Firemore Discord for the Firemore server Discord in EU was sold to someone who ran GDKPs for a lot of gold, and even he runs it better than the Faerlina Discord.
What the fuck?
Which is messy. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but yeah, at one point in time, the Firemore Discord was just owned by someone who bought it with gold.
Who? What? People bought it with gold?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Firemore gold GDKPs were out of this world. The organized servers, man. The Firemores, the White Mains, they're very organized with the GDKP structures and it's very I guess enterprising individuals who set up very, very good GDKPs and structures and everything.
Damn. Yeah, because like my friend who transferred to Benediction linked me this screenshot here, and they were like, this is in the Benediction Discord. Like, it's like all recruitment needs for like all the guilds and what they need, and like what guilds have closed applications. And I was like, we fucking just shit post all day. Like,
yeah. Like the only contribution I've gotten from the Faerlina Discord is that that leak that just flamed the PvPers for getting carried or boosted by Chan and Snuts back in there. That was the product of one of the posters in the Faerlina Discord. That was about their contribution so far.
Hey, look at how many people need rogues.
Hey, 3. 3
yeah, 3
guilds.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Note this server has 10% of the overall Alliance population in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So Alliance, so you can infer that throughout the entire world, there were only 30 rogues needed in guilds right now across the entire world.
God, I'm gonna get hate messages. I got a message the other day from a nice viewer. He was very nice about it. He was like, "Hey man, can you stop shitting on rogues?" Basically, it was the summary of it.
Oh yeah, their raid spot is like at risk now. But that's the thing, is I'm not, to all you rogues out there, I'm not trying to like shit on your class. I'm trying to make you guys better human beings, because you have to bring more to the table than being a rogue, right? You have to bring leadership qualities. You have to bring humor. You have to be fun to raid with. You have to not be a dick. You gotta be a good human if you want to play rogue and still have a raid spot, right? So you got to bring more to the table than your DPS, because that's definitely not something you're fucking bringing. So. And my friend is on full rogue copium now, and he's saying that he's like, I don't know, man, rogue with glaives probably going to be really good. He's like, I don't know if we're going to bring one to the speed run. He's like, I think we might. I'm sitting there going, like, the only time that I think a rogue would ever be like worth it to bring in a speed run is if for some reason you end up being so insane at single target DPS that you alone help your guild make a DPS check to skip a mechanic, kind of like Makesna, right? So I was like, that seems to be like the only way that I would be like, that's when I would bring a rogue. If this, like, skipping some phase because a rogue DPS so fucking hard that I got to, I got to just skip a minute and speed us up. It would make up for all the time he doesn't do damage on trash and shit like that. So I was like, okay, yeah, that or they reintroduced traps, because I told you about that BWL run that was on my server. That was just like that. They got past Veilstrads and they were like, we're gonna keep going, and then they were just spamming trade chat for, we need a fucking rogue for BWL on Broodlord. Like they needed somebody to take the traps down. So like a rogue was necessary, and I was like, that's how you fucking do it. That's how you do it. You just got to reintroduce traps. You know, you got to introduce a boss fight where the rogue doesn't do any damage, because fucking rogue. All they do is run around and disarm traps. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So that's the relevance, right? Nobody else can do that.
See, Fight Club was worried that I'd be biased towards rogue, but then every time they say like, "Oh, you might be biased towards rogues here," I'm like, "Have you watched our podcast? Like half the podcast is Irene shitting on rogues. Like, there's no bias here."
I play rogue, and I shit on myself. You know, like, I mean, I play 4 classes, I guess, but rogue is one where I'm just like, this class is not good. It is better in this phase than it was last phase, and it will be better next phase than it was the phase before. Rogues get better throughout TBC, but like, you really are just polishing a turd over time. So it's still a fucking turd. Like, sure, your rogue has glaives, but it's like, come on. Really? Just chatting raids with rogue? Yes. Out of all my raiding characters, my rogue is literally just chatting. I'll play fucking country music and shit like that while I play rogue. I'll get like viewer suggestions. Like all my other raids, I'm like more focused. I'm like trying to like DPS or keep people up, all that shit. Tanking is like way more. I can't really like interact with chat. You miss a moment, something runs by. By playing my rogue is like literally like a just chatting stream, and it is. Can we do karaoke too? I did sing a song one time. It was.
Is Irene can sing? I've seen the YouTube clips.
There's a YouTube clip. Oh,
there's YouTube clips of your old singing days.
Oh God. Oh, probably somewhere. Yeah, I ended up doing a parody of Country Roads called Useless Rogues.
Oh no. This is not helping my case with the poor guy that messaged me. He's like, please stop shitting on rogues. And the thing is, it's not like I try to go out of my way to shit on rogues, or it's more that I like to think I'm fairly honest about where the class stands. And, in PvP, we're really good. In PvE, we're kind of, if you're a really good rogue, by all means, you can definitely compete if the other guys aren't as hardcore as you and you're just popping more haste pots and you're just min-maxing a little bit more to kind of bridge the gap. Like, I'll have a raids where I beat out hunters in overall DPS and such if I'm tryharding that night. But, like, at the same time, I'm not going to say, like, oh, if the hunter was tryharding at the same level, I'm going to beat him. No, probably not. No. Probably not.
That's always the argument, is people are like, yeah, but a really fucking good rogue. And I'm just like, yeah, but really fucking good of like any class is you're literally saying, if I'm against a bad player, I win. If that's what it takes for your class to be good, that's not good. Like, 99 rogue is better than a 69 hunter, of course. Yeah, Gabe knows what's up. I am Gabe 69 in chat knows what's up. I hope that's not his parse number. Oh God, yeah. Like rogues are at the point where I don't know how you would ever make them relevant besides like a lower blade flurry cooldown. Like, no joke. But that's so hard to fucking balance because that ability is strong. Yeah, right. It
is very strong. Like as you see on Fathom Lord, when it's good, it's good. When it's good, it's really good. Fathom Lord's the one fight where I'm like, oh yeah. You guys see that? You guys see? Forget about the rest of SSC.
5k DPS.
Yeah. You look at my DPS here. Pretty good, right?
Yeah, Fathom Lord is the fight where rogues clench pre-pop evasion and hope to God that they don't pull off the thing they're blade flurrying.
Oh, it's especially fun for my white man guild because we don't have salve. We have 2 paladins in the raid right now. We don't have the third one. So for me, it's like, well, I can drop DPS or I can just run without salve and pray. So we go the prayer route.
Are you guys not running a Holy Pally?
This isn't gonna help the case, but we have
Is
3
it not?
rogues, and it's hard to fit in a rat paladin when you have 3 rogues on the roster. Our poor Fury Warrior is there with like salve and one of the DPS buffs because he doesn't have the other DPS buff. And the other day, our GM was like, "Wow, you know what? I've been thinking about this, and yeah, this is not having a rat paladin really handicaps the melee, huh?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
yeah, it does.
I mean, not even just the blessing, right? It's the uptime of wisdom. Wisdom is a lot harder to keep up without a rep paladin. So you end up with hunters complaining, arcane mages complaining, warlocks having to tap a little bit earlier, and feral druids being mad if they're shape shifting or power shifting. Excuse me. Well, yeah, it's it just God. So was this one of the ones that you're in charge of?
No, this is the one that I've been in from like the start, and I've never been an officer in. But it's because all our rogues were really solid. With like big pumpers back in the day, and and I've been with the guild since the start, so we didn't want to cut anyone.
Now you just need 6 more rogues to make the composition we were talking about. Right? Oh my god! Yeah, that is that comp something. One day somebody's got to do it.
Someone who needs content and has a lot of time.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Completely burnt out.
SSC TK nerfs. Or suggested nerfs that didn't get. I don't know how to even put it. Announced nerfs that got cancelled. I guess you could put it.
Yeah.
Announced nerfs that got cancelled.
Tentative nerfs, yeah.
So for people that weren't aware of I'm sure everyone knows about this now, but they announced nerfs to SSC and TK, mainly the bosses that people get stuck on. So the Morgrim, the Vashj, the KT fight, those guys were getting nerfs. And then a few hours later, they just declined them. They took them back. Basically, they said, "Hey, we're gonna think about this more and see how it impacts people." So the nerfs that they did propose though were one to make the Tidewalkers on the Morgrim fight have less health. And then they were going to make the phase 3 of Vashj a little bit easier because the CC, you could CC the mind controlled people, I believe it was. And then on KT, they were basically just going to reduce the HP of phase 2 and 3 a little bit. So not anything major, like fairly like minor things actually, nothing that massive. But if you look at the bottom of the original post, geez, the comments are... Wait, maybe Wildhead's taking care to delete them, but they were very brutal for the first period. They were very brutal. A lot of harsh things being said in the comment section of that, and that's basically why Blizzard took a step back because they had so much bad negative feedback. And honestly, if I was them, I might have gone ahead with the changes anyway. But I do also think that there are better ways they could have done it at the same time. But I'm curious to see what Zarin's take on this is, because I know the one big side effect of this for people that are in a hardcore guild is this messes with speedruns because we're in the middle of the split. And if you're going to make changes like this, it's going to change the speedruns. The times basically you're gonna mess with all the things, and you're gonna have to do like a split in the middle of the phase or something, so that all the times before are now irrelevant, and people are gonna have to re-speed run maybe.
Not necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily true because people are constantly speed running. It would just make it faster.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they just have to like eliminate the ones before. I guess or like the pre-nerf. You divide it pre-nerf and post-nerf.
Nah, because I don't think so, because those times will be. Well, the times will just go down. It's not like they buffed content, right? And then you had like a time that's unbeatable because it was before they buffed content, so all times afterwards would be higher. So I feel like going this direction is not that big of a deal for it, right? It's just, I don't know. For me, I don't think it would be like that big of a deal. But somebody's saying that they would do a partition. I don't think that's necessary. I don't know why that would be something people want to do.
Well, I guess the good thing with the timing is that not a lot of guilds had done like a hardcore speedrun attempt. They kind of done some speedrunning, but they're not at the end of the phase yet, and they were gonna definitely get faster anyway. So in a lot of ways, you could say that it's not that big a deal, I guess, in that people were gonna. I mean, the speedruns from last podcast were already beaten by Progress and Noda ran again, I believe, and they already beat the last week's run times already.
Yep. Oh yeah, people are on that shit again. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like. But wait, somebody said, my question is, who was upset? The people who already cleared it and saw themselves at an advantage, or the people who still wanted to overcome the challenge? I think it was a mixture of both. I think a lot of people were like, they wanted their stuff to be, they were like, it's good that it's hard. People, if a game tells you you're bad, you should feel bad for being bad, right? Like that type of thing where it's like, yeah, just beat the boss eventually, right? But at the same time, I think there's people who also are like, I've spent a lot of time banging my head against this wall. We're almost there. And it just kind of sucks if it gets nerfed. Because I remember like when we were doing Mag Theridin on the PTR, and we were very close to killing it because we just figured out, you actually need like 4 click groups instead of 2, which was like one of the biggest things. And we were getting it down, and we were getting like a smooth transition. And then we got told that like Mag Theridin's going to respawn the next attempt with nerfed HP, right? And we were like, what the fuck? So that felt really bad because we wanted to overcome it pre-nerf, and there was only like one guild that killed it pre-nerf. So that was shitty because we wanted to do it, right? So it was a challenge for us as well. But I think there's a lot of things where like people want to be able to kill those bosses. They are hamstrung in their progression, and some guilds might fall apart because of it. But I think from like Blizzard's point of view, it's not a bad thing to do. But from the public's point of view, it's kind of like, why would you do this now? Just wait until BT, right?
Yeah.
And also the lack of time beforehand where they were like, hey, this is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah. I feel like that was the biggest thing, is that just the lack of communication and the sudden last minute, hey, this is coming out. I mean, it was literally the next day. They announced it and it was literally coming the next day. So,
it was really funny. It was really funny because I was in my GDKP, and my GDKP, it's like this 3rd week, and we've done 9 out of 10 and we haven't killed Vashj. And we were on Vashj, right? We're doing Lady Vashj and Vashj, whatever the fuck her name is. We're doing Lady Vashj, and what ended up happening is these nerfs got announced, and people were like, "Oh, that's okay. We can just kill it tomorrow." Like when it's fucking nerfed. I was like, "Oh, god damn it!" They were like, "Yeah, just come back tomorrow." Like it is one of those things where a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, just call the raid, come back tomorrow when we're all fresh." But it's like, "Yeah, just come back tomorrow when it's fucking nerfed. It'll be easier." So. This would have been like a welcome nerf for the GDKP, but at the same time, it's like
I think a lot of people have to take in mind like the reasoning behind Blizzard doing this as well is because, like, let's be real, a lot of guilds are having issues and breaking up and such because, as we've said in the past with podcasts, when a guild is 8 out of 10 for a long period of time, their best players start leaving. People stop turning up as much. They get like your roster gets really bad. Your roster gets in a bad place. Your best players start getting poached as well, and it gets harder and harder every week to make even the same 8 out of 10 progress. At some point, you're going to drop to 7 out of 10 and 6 out of 10, and it's like a death spiral when you can't clear content. So. The reason for these nerfs is Blizzard's trying to address this major issue with these particular guilds, because I'm guessing on their stat sides, they're saying, wow, there's a lot of guilds that are kind of collapsing, and these people are being left homeless, and they're going to quit WoW, basically, because they can't raid. And Blizzard doesn't want that to happen. But then on the other hand, is also the side that Blizzard didn't give anyone a heads up notice. I feel like if they had just let people know of this way ahead of time, they could say, hey, 2 months into this phase, we're going to do these nerfs. So you have 2 months if you want to get the pre-nerf status on your guild and be like, hey, we did it, then you have 2 months. And then after that, we're going to nerf it so it's easier for the dad guilds who are struggling with rosters and such to at least progress and still say they're 10 out of 10 and recruit and such. It's just a lack of announcement ahead of time, a lack of prep for the people. People just wanna. I feel even just a couple of weeks delay would have been good because people would be like, okay, we're gonna make this push. We're gonna get that Vashj kill in our last attempt as a guild and such, and then people would have been more okay with it. It was just like the last minute nature was really bad.
Yeah, I agree. And as somebody in chat just said, just killed Kale on Wednesday for the first time, and I would be pissed beyond belief if they nerf the boss. It's that simple. Yeah. A lot of people like put a lot of effort in, and yeah, they don't want it to be nerfed until later and when it's catch up content. So yeah, I get that angle as well. I just thought it was really funny because it was last minute announcement. They didn't like they didn't like let people know this was happening ahead of time or get feedback on it or anything like that. They were just like, by the way, here we go. Like
yeah.
The fact they pulled these changes is a good sign, though, that they at least go, okay, I guess we fucked up, and they don't do it this time. Because there's been so many times in the past where Blizzard goes, nope, I don't care. Send it, and then they just fucking send it in. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Drums? Just shut the fuck up, GBB. Shut the fuck up. Don't mention drums in this chat ever again.
Oh no, you send Irene on a 15-minute drum range.
Shit, you're gonna make me drum. Like, god damn it, dude.
See, so the thing is, I feel these nerfs can be done in a better way as well, if you think about it. And this is something where I think something like the proposed community council, if done well, would be very beneficial because people could discuss this and offer better solutions. Because even just in the small amount of discussion I had in my own Discord with people talking about these changes, we already thought of some things that might be more welcome than changing the boss difficulty. Some people suggested one, why don't you just remove a little bit more trash? Because the real problem is the dad guilds get to Vashj and KT and don't have enough attempts. Like, that's a big problem, is that they only raid 2 nights a week and they're spending so much time getting up to Vashj and KT that by the time they get there, they get like a couple pulls and then, oh, well, we gotta call the raid, guys. It's past time. Everyone's gotta go to sleep. So why don't you make it easier for them to get to the boss, was one proposal. So you get rid of a bit of trash. A lot of people do not like the amount of trash in TK, for example. Get rid of a little bit of the trash. You can still keep some trash. You just don't need as much trash. It speeds up the raid for people. And I don't think a lot of people would complain if you took out a little bit of trash. Like, again, it will mess with the speed running, but as long as you told people ahead of time, you could let them know, and then they'd be prepared. And a lot of people will be like, hey, yeah, we got an extra, 30 minutes every week now as a dad guild to try to focus on getting KT down. So you still get the accomplishment, you're just not hamstrung by trash quite as much. So
how about you just don't make the KT trash respawn?
Yeah, I mean,
that's I think that's a big blocker for a lot of guilds. I can't tell you how many times people are like close to downing it, and then the trash respawns, and they're just like, oh, fuck, and then they don't want to clear it again or anything like that, because that trash is actually like the hardest trash in TK. Well, one of the hardest bits of trash in the TK is all that shit, and it's like a lot of HP, even though it's like 4 to 6 mobs, like all that stuff in those packs. They are the ones that are the most annoying. And even if you're doing an attempt, like the trash will respawn in the middle of your attempt and kill you. So it just feels really bad to do that. So I actually think like making it so that KT trash doesn't respawn is actually probably a good thing. That's probably one of the nerfs that I think would be most welcome, because it doesn't affect top level guilds at all, right? Like zero care from them. They don't need to, right? They don't need to do it a second time. Whereas guilds that want to keep doing attempts, it allows them to do that. So I think that's fine.
Another
that was great. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and another suggestion I had as well from someone was get rid of attunements or make them way easier at this point in time, to make it easier to recruit. So again, you're still addressing the issues, like the core issue Blizzard's trying to do is they're trying to save all these guilds that can't recruit. They have roster issues. They can't beat Vashj KT and such. And so this is addressing it from the other side of things. Well, make it easier to recruit people then. And don't make the new people come in and have to do all the attunement that really, really sucks at this point in time. Just make it easier or get rid of the attunement at this point. Or put in those items that attune you, although it won't help those 8 out of 10 guilds if they drop off Vashj, but make it easier in some fashion for people to get attuned or get rid of the attunements this late into the phase.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really not looking forward to is like I'm getting a paladin boosted on Horde side right now.
Oh, you got to do all that
on Faerlina. Yeah, I'm level 67 right now. And it just feels like it just feels like there's this daunting task in front of me of doing a bunch of normals to get revered with the factions I need to get revered with, to do the keys, to get all the shit that I need for first I need to gear the character. I need to gear the character in a quick way to be able to do normals, to then be able to do heroics, and because I'm a tank heroics, and then get to SSCTK, and that feels like it's going to be very hard to do, right? If your guild really wants you to raid with them, they will help you though. Yeah, they're going to help me, but that's the thing, right? Is they're literally picking up a person that has not trialed with them or anything like that. They're going to spend a lot of time to get me attuned. And what if I'm shit? You know, like what if I'm bad? So it's a gamble. It's a time investment. It can be really taxing because who the fuck wants to use 4 people's time on a bunch of normals for grinding rep that they did months ago, right? It's like,
yeah, it's pretty rough doing those instances.
I don't know the solution because attunement is supposed to be a progression of like do Kara, then do this, right? But it feels like getting into SSCTK, you don't want to miss lockouts, so you want to get that shit done ASAP. You want to get done like as fast as possible. So yeah, it will be interesting.
Yeah, you just need to do the Adam Chan special. I know Chan loves it. He cackles to himself every time I mention his rogue, but you gotta do the Adam Chan special, man, where you just have insane amounts of gold and then you pay for the limo service where you just put someone on follow and they run you through every faction requirement and your attunement process.
How do they run you through every faction requirement?
You have a lot of gold and you bribe everyone apparently, because he even got his attunement for oh god, what was the horrible one where you gotta save the gnome?
Millhouse Mountain Storm.
Millhouse,
that's Alcatraz into
Alcatraz,
TK.
yeah. So he did the Alcatraz. Yeah. He even got followed through. He just put someone on follow and they carried him through Alcatraz. And he only had to like tab out of his arena game to help you out. Oh yeah, wait up guys, I gotta tab out and I gotta save this Millhouse guy because we're on the bus. That's all he did.
The fuck?
You just pay obscene amounts of gold to people, and apparently you don't have to do attunements. That's the solution.
Yeah, I don't have that, so
Yeah.
especially on Horde side, like it's a bit of a problem. But yeah, just roll a new character and have obscene amounts of gold. There's the solution.
Yeah, that's the solution. You just have to be, the best warlock in the world on NA basically, and boost people.
Any swipers in the chat? God. Oh, 20 computers multi-box with gold farming accounts? No. He's just boosting people. People actually buy like arena boosts.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't even blame them. And on the value for money front, I look at it and think, well, it's what, like a few days of your time to farm up the gold to pay someone of that caliber to teach you and boost you at the same time. It's like, well, he's literally the number one. Like a lot of people would say, the number one lock on NA side, and you get to play with him for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever you do, and you learn so much. So I can't even like argue against his value proposition where he's like, yeah, this is just a little bit of gold for a little bit of his time.
Or you could watch his stream for free at twitch.tv/channel.
Yeah. No, don't do that. he gets it. This swine is sitting there already and just cackling to himself, just like, yeah, that's right. Just advertise my stream for me. But yeah, so I mean, I understand Blizzard's position, and I also understand the people who are like, oh look, we need it to be hard. Games need to be hard, and etc. etc. But at the end of the day, guys, if the game's so hard that people can't recruit and a lot of guilds are dying, I don't think it's a bad idea to look at the things and try to find ways to make it less horrible where dad guilds just can't recruit anymore, right? There's clearly a flaw there in the way it's built, so...
I have a I have a question.
Okay.
For Blizzard, if you're out there right now, all right, when can we boost Draenei's and Blood Elves? Because it's almost time. It's almost time. Like the need for shamans on Alliance side is ridiculous. Especially because less players play Alliance in general. You still need 5 shamans per raid normally. Some people are moving up to 6, and it's just like it's really fucking hard to find shamans for even top guilds. And people just don't want to level a Draenei from the beginning. Like it's even harder to find boosts on servers like Faerlina Alliance side is basically like almost all dead, and they're one of the like most populated Alliance servers. Like one of. The ratio is bad from Alliance to like Horde, but just because there's just so many fucking Horde now. But the number of people like doing boosts or anything like that, you'd have to actually just like level normally, which, oh no, level normally, play the game. Oh God. Like, yeah, I get it. But I definitely feel like there should be a time you would make money, Blizzard, in like a non-fucked up way if you allowed people to all have a second boost that could be used on like a paladin or a blood elf or a Draenei, and you made it cheaper. Like, I don't think it's that hard. The boost, you're valuing it at a random number. Just go ahead and be like, hey, what's this? Allow race changes too. Doesn't hurt anyone. Well, that funny thing is you could just boost any class on the opposite faction now if you really wanted to. So poggers, right? Even shaman boosting at all would find a lot of second accounts showing up. Yeah, that's actually true. But yeah, race changes won't happen until Wrath, and then that's going to make people a fuck ton of money because everybody's going to go Alliance that wants to PvP. Even though Horde racials are slightly better for PvE, human racial is just fucking insane. So yeah. And then I think they fix it so that I think they fix it so escape artists can't resist or some shit.
Which is honestly something that should be changed right now. It's a bit weird that it works that way, that you can resist your own escape artist racial.
But it's not even you resisting, it's the fucking dispel effect because it counts as a dispel, right? It's kind of fucked up. Like real talk. Like I raged yesterday. I'm playing Paladin Warrior. I'm playing full Shockedin now. I'm like 2100. I'm playing Shockedin with like Sanctity.
He's adapting.
Yeah, I do more damage than my Warrior every game, almost. Like you blow people up. What if we play the same team twice? They play really fucking scared. That's what ends up happening. Is we'll play a team once. We absolutely like blow the fuck up out of somebody, and they have no idea what happened. The second time we play them, the Warrior's got like a shield on right away, and he's just like running away the whole time. I was like, holy shit! Oh yeah, it's it can be it's really fun, but at the same time, it's like yesterday there was a time where my Warrior got rooted. He was like, my escape artist resist. It just cleanse me, and I cleanse him 5 times. Like no fucking joke. I'm like. Cleanse you. He's like, get me. I'm like, I'm doing it. And you see like the animation go off. I'm like, dude, really? What the fuck, dude? Like, then the root has like 1 second left, and then I finally get the cleanse on it. It was so bad, dude. Oh, I actually absolutely hate chance to resist in TBC, in PvP. Like, chance to resist, I'm so glad they changed it to duration later on. I'm so glad they changed it to duration, where it was like, hey, 30% less duration on these things. So, the RNG is really fucking bad. Yeah, the RNG is terrible. RNG is terrible.
But did you see they're also offering the free transfers though? Speaking of the population issues, the in the coming weeks, they said they haven't said exactly what or like where people will be able to transfer to. But they said to any high population realm with the same rule set and region, which is big. Because in the past, they always only offered the transfer to like another server that you might not necessarily really want to go. You probably still want to pay for the paid transfer and go to like the most populated server. But if they allow you to actually transfer to the Faerlina, to the White Main, to the Firemore and such for free from a dead server, that's pretty good, and that's honestly what they should have done a long time ago. But it's it's a good. It's really good.
I have questions about this, Blizzard. I have two questions. One is like I guess just a question to pose out in general, and it's: do you think this means that any alliance will ever come to Faerlina, and instead they'll just go to Benediction? Like, I don't think it's going to solve any of the faction balance issues unless they go, hey, Benediction Alliance is full, Faerlina you can transfer alliance, or they go, Faerlina Horde is full, you can't transfer to Faerlina Horde, right?
Yeah.
If they do it by factions, restrict faction stuff. Also, another thing is they say high population server. Technically, Benediction and Faerlina are full population servers when on the list, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Hmm.
it's high population and they're just merging those, or if they're going to allow you to transfer to full servers as well. That's the thing I'm curious about, right? Because technically, like, you load in yesterday, it's like, hey, Benediction's full, Faerlina's full. And I was like, oh boy. Because that's big for, like, even my guild in general on Faerlina, because we're like, oh, this might help us, like, recruit more people instead of having to go to Benediction as like a full guild and fuck our transfers over, or people who transfer to us have to wait their cooldown out. I think that they should to some degree faction lock it and be like, hey, the Horde, we're not going to like make Alliance or Horde Faerlina become even more Horde dominant. You have to pay if you want to go to Horde Faerlina, but Alliance could transfer to Faerlina for free. If you want to go to Horde Benediction, that's free. But if you're Alliance and you want to go to Benediction, you have to pay still. People would still pay for it, right? That's what they should do for, transfers in general, the free transfers. And then what they should do is a month later, they should merge the remaining low population servers with medium pop servers.
Yeah.
But I don't know how often they actually do merges.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, I think, when they actually do the merge. Yeah.
Merge tech is
Have you seen those screenshots though on Reddit where they have like the 90% Alliance server and then the 90% Horde server, and like, can we find a solution? And it's like, just merge them and they'll be equal pop. They'll be equal pop again. But it's I have to say, Firemore is a wonder in balance. I don't know how they did it or why this is occurring, but somehow Firemore, looking at this chart, is still like 50-50 basically for Horde and Alliance. It's actually amazing that Firemore has held this balance, because Gehenna's, they lost that a long time ago. It's 73% Horde side on Gehenna's, but somehow Firemore is still holding on with the 50% strong. I wonder if that's because of the big progress. A lot of people know that progress is there on Alliance side, and they're going to keep Alliance alive, so they believe that Alliance is going to be fine there, and they transfer, and that somehow offsets the massive amount of Horde. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that somehow Firemore has been the only server that's been able to maintain its like 50-50 status out of the big servers.
Yeah, when you have one of the best guilds in the world on one side, I guess.
Yeah, that's all you need, guys. You just need to have the best guild, one of the best guilds in the world on the smaller faction to kind of bring people over.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Just do it.
Yeah, so Faerlina can start by just, first having a Discord that works, baby steps first, and then one day you can have really good guilds as well. Yeah.
Right. And do it better, I guess, this time.
Yeah, but it is an interesting point. If they do some server locks or faction locks with these transfers, maybe to try to at least attempt to get some semblance of balance if possible, if they're going to offer the free transfers anyway. It's honestly a good idea. But it's interesting every time you talk about any changes to Classic, because there's always going to be the odd person that's coming in and be like, no changes, or like, this is the Classic I want, and you signed up for Classic and this is Classic, you shouldn't want changes, etc., etc. And it's really interesting to me, because I find it's just people are looking for a different Classic experience, and not everyone's in for the same Classic experience. And in a lot of cases, it's just like, well, who do you really cater to? Do you cater to the guy who signed up for the OG classic experience, or do you cater to the other people and try to keep the game more alive? Right? It's like a question of who do you cater to, because you can't please everyone. And as has been honestly has been seen in the no changes thing, I think a lot of people are off no changes now, who were originally no changes after running through all of Classic and being like, oh, we could have had these world buff changes at the start of Classic instead of the end. And people realize, okay, maybe some changes aren't that bad. You can make some things better. I think people get really worried about changes because they look at retail and think, oh no, any change brings us closer to retail. But you can't just look at the changes and think, well, now we can't change anything because there's a danger it'll become retail. I think you still want to make changes. You just have to be smart about them, right? You still have to try something. If the game's dying, then you got to do something to try to help it.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to take action in some places. And somebody's saying quality of life buffs are like welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think that's a really big deal. There's a lot of poor quality of life things in Classic, right? Like, there's a lot of things that should be changed, in my opinion, and do get changed around Wrath. But yeah, it's interesting seeing the Season of Mastery stuff where they're like, hey, no batching and all that. Right. People
someone in chat is asking what happened to we want to create a museum with WoW Classic, and even if it's just 1,000 people playing in the end, that's fine. Is that all out the window? Well, it still exists. You can go sign up for those servers. There's like 2 people playing on them though. Is the thing. Like, you can go play on those servers. They're just apparently they're not very popular. It's kind of the problem. They're still there, but not many people want that experience is kind of the problem. So you're going to have to convince that other 998 people to play with you on those servers. But yeah, so did you see the TBC hotfixes, by the way? It's kind of interesting that they are PvP focused. It's not much, but they're a little bit PvP focused. And then they made it that you need expert riding to enter the Botanica, Mackinac, and Alcatraz on top too. I guess that's to stop bots or something along those lines.
That is to stop bots from being low level and doing that stuff. Which it's a start, but yeah. I'm pretty sure the bots are just going to go buy riding now, right? Like, the bots are just going to get a few more levels and then buy riding? Or I am not sure. Like, because bots have no problem gaining levels, it seems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That does not seem to be the issue at all. Yeah. But I mean, why not? I guess it's better than doing nothing, but yeah, it's a start, but they gotta do more, I guess.
Which riding do you have to have?
Expert riding.
Just the 60%?
Yeah. This is the snow speed, the snowy speed mount.
The snowy speed? Yeah, that's not that expensive. Bots will make that money quickly. Yeah. They'll do slave pens botting until they can get to this, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing is the other changes are all PvP focused, which is they in the past they haven't really touched PvP that much. It's been a lot of PvE changes, and then every now and then they throw in some PvP changes, which is nice.
It's because these are really bugs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even know this was a thing. This shaman horde.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
It would explain a lot of things about sometimes when I would be on versing a shaman team, and I'd be thinking, man, my poison, he's getting rid of those poisons really fast.
Yeah, you spam poison cleansing totem and it would get rid of 2 poisons.
Yeah, I didn't know it was doing double.
Attack poisons twice, yeah. That's why it was like so hard to lock down a resto shaman sometimes, because one, if they were orc, you know, they resist your stun. Second was if you try to mind numbing them, which is usually like a good poison to have on them, because then, you know, all their shit's cast. They get rid of it pretty easily. Crippling doesn't stick to them, and then they can Ghost Wolf. And like having wound poison, like try to stack it up really quickly. It's like, it's still like they have ways to try and get rid of it faster than, you know, other classes. So you spend a lot of your time shivving it, so it's kind of shitty. But I knew about this. I knew it was horde only because it didn't work on my Draenei. So
Okay.
I was tilted at that. I was just like, hey, give me this too. Get the rogues sometimes, like, because I'm a Draenei, so I just get stun locked. It's like, it'd be real nice if I could really get out of this, stun lock for 1 second, maybe get away, maybe for like a second before he shadow steps to me and then kidneys me. But okay. Oh yeah, it's I'm glad that they changed this. It was definitely something that was like a little bit definitely a bug. So
I am sad though, because like other rogues, I'm sure I read it and I kind of glanced at it first. I saw, Vanish. Did they do good changes to Vanish? And then no, it was just literally fixed an issue where a player that was attacked by a rogue that immediately vanished would, after some time, sometimes drop out of combat much quicker than intended. And I was like, oh, I thought this was gonna fix the problem where sometimes you can just like stand next to someone who vanishes and hit them out of Vanish when they vanish. I thought it was gonna make Vanish good again.
This is actually a rogue nerf. This is actually like if you gouge someone and then vanish, by the time gouge wore off, sometimes you could actually sap them and they would drop combat faster.
Yeah,
they weren't.
Is that how they're doing it? I saw some people doing it. I was always wondering, like, are they waiting like a set timing? But yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You could actually just, because you wouldn't be able to re-stealth fast enough some of the times unless you had like imp gouge.
Yeah.
But it would make them drop combat in like 3 seconds or 4 seconds, 3 seconds instead of like 5, whatever the normal amount is.
But yeah, good changes overall. Just some simple bug fixes. Then we have a bunch of seasonal mastery stuff as we do a lot of season. By the way, did you reserve your name yet? Oh, I guess you don't play on EU, so you can't reserve your name. I reserved my name in the off chance that I play. I'm probably not playing on EU at the least if I mess around, but I save my name just in case. On the EU rounds.
I think a lot of people right now for season of mastery are just like, they're gonna wait and see,
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are on the fence. I don't know if there's anything they could possibly do that would make me play classic right now. That would make me play like original WoW again.
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
I do know a few people who are rolling on it, but it seems like it's mostly just the people who play a lot of WoW and they're just looking for something to do. The people I know who are playing Season of Mastery are usually the guys in my guild with like many outs who are just always playing WoW and they're just looking for something to do in between raids. And that's probably they're gonna mess around in Season of Mastery.
Classic's body is still warm. It's too soon. I agree with that. I think it's a little bit too fast. I think it's a little too soon for me, at least.
Yeah.
So I share that same sentiment.
Yeah.
When 20 level 70 alts are not enough. Yeah. I don't really know if there's anything they could possibly do that would actually make me want to play.
Where's Bobka right now? He's the one. Anytime he's around, because he's doing the hardcore Road to Ragnarok stuff. So every time he sees a fellow streamer, he's trying to convince them, hey, you know who's leveling with me on Season of Mastery hardcore? You are. He's just trying to convince everyone to go level with him. But yeah, I mean, I understand. Like I said last podcast, I understand the streamers who want to do it because it's good content. At least it's better content in the middle of a phase like this when there's not much going on. It's gives something interesting for the viewers to watch. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna be playing hardcore, guys. I know I get a lot of questions. I get so many questions now with just old school classic questions that it's been weird. Like people message me, hey man, what's the rogue rotation for classic? I'm like, wow, I guess that we're getting some good long-term traffic from these videos now. People are gonna go back and watch the rogue rotation videos again and such. But yeah, it's weird. Someone messaged me in the Discord the other day and they're like, hey man, you don't actually have a classic place to talk about classic because all my stuff is labeled TBC channels now and such. And I was like, I guess I could add one in. I didn't even think about that. That now there's going to be like a wave of classic players coming in. But I mean, speaking of all that Season of Mastery stuff, the gear change is actually interesting. Even if I'm not playing, I do find it interesting that they are doing gear changes there. Which actually a lot of people are saying rogues are going to be possibly insanely good, which is very doable because rogues were already good, right? Like rogues were already good in classic. They were just overshadowed by warriors being crazy good. But rogues with the Dark Mental set, which is the dungeon set, that people didn't get for quite a long time. When did Dark Mental actually come out? Was it phase 3 or the first time?
Yeah, it was AQ.
It was AQ. Okay, yeah.
It was going into AQ, right?
Yeah, so it was 4 then, I think. Is it 4? But yeah, it's very late. It was very late. But if you're gonna get that at the start, that's kind of nutty because as people know, that gear is equal, like it is literally equal to the gear at the time. A lot of rogues were using that then. So if you get that in phase 1, yeah, rogues might be crazy good, like crazy good if you're getting that much energy in phase 1.
Yeah, see, people are like, it was your pre-bis going into phase 5. Yep.
Yeah.
It's insane. You're gonna have fucking phase 5 gear in phase 1. So yeah, I don't know if you're probably not gonna pick up almost any pieces of
this is gonna make your gearing very easy because you're just never gonna replace it. Like for almost all season rush, you just don't have to replace it.
Yeah, you're gonna end up in
like how long do you go? I guess until AQ, right? Yeah, until AQ.
Yeah. You pick up like 3 pieces of Bloodfang for the poison shit. Because that's based on attack speed too, isn't it? Because it's a chance on hit.
Yeah, it procs. Yeah, I remember getting questions way back in the day. People were going crazy testing the Dark Metal back in the day. I had someone who literally used what was the clicky buff you could get to increase your attack speed, but it lowered your damage. The one that no one used.
Oh, Juju Flurry.
Oh yeah, Juju Flurry. Yeah, which by the way, you should never use that because it actually lowers your DPS, but it increases your haste. And yeah, people even tried using that to see if they procced more energy based off of it. And so it's gonna be kind of crazy. Rogues have a safe haven. There you go, Zareen. There you go. Positive rogues. If you want to be good, I guess you go back to Season of Mastery and go have late classic gear at the start of classic. But I mean, rogues might be crazy because they're increasing ranking as well. They said they're increasing ranking, which is or the speed that you rank in classic, which is gonna make things interesting because like that was a big question mark for a lot of people. They were saying, well, you know, if it's an accelerated speed, how are you gonna rank? Like, are you literally going to be going through phases and still doing your PvP grind for High Warlord? Because that was a big question mark. But yeah, they said they're going to be increasing the speed of that basically, and there's no spell batching, and interestingly also there's no same faction queues because they want it to be a classic experience of the ranking, where really if you want to rank efficiently you got to have a pre-made. It's basically the way it's got to go.
Yeah. And it's all like versus your own people again, all that stuff.
Yeah.
GM weapons with tier 0.5 and PvP gear to fill. Yeah. It's going to be... You can have some really fucking decked out rogue in the first phase. I actually think rogues may be your best DPS class in the first phase.
Yeah.
It's very
with GM weapons and tier 0.5.
Yeah.
Like that is actually insane.
Yeah. It's because the Fury proc gear and like the Fury gear is like pretty meh in the first phase.
Yeah, it's pretty much all like random weird dungeon stuff, isn't it? A lot of it. The Fury gear at the start. Yeah.
Use 4-piece Dark Mantle plus 2-piece Devil Sword.
That's true. That's true. At the start, you still go to Devil Sword before you pick up other stuff.
Yeah. Because Devil Sword is just insane because the hit's just messy, right? Yeah. They'll still be in the crater, but less so. I don't know.
God, somewhere out there is a guy who's just foaming to go back and control the Devil Soul Mafia in Season of Mastery. You know there's that guy out there somewhere.
It's one of my favorite times ever playing Classic was the Devil Soul Mafia, dude. That shit was actually really fun. And the drama that came around it too. Somebody made a fucking rap about it. There's a Devil Soul Mafia rap for Faerlina. It was actually good. The guy who did it was not bad. It's not bad. Not bad. You should fucking listen to it. Have you listened to it before, Snow?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Link the rap. I'm pretty sure you can just go to YouTube and type Devil Sword Mafia rap, and it's the one that has like a Ungoro soil as the thumbnail or whatever with somebody's name.
But yeah, they're making a lot of good changes, honestly, to Season Mastery. Even though I'm not that interested in it, they're making a lot of good changes. They're changing the Plague Bloom, which is a Plague Bloom, the Black Lotus and such. Because as anyone that played Classic knows, that was a big issue back in the day. Is the fact that everyone needed Black Lotus and you couldn't get enough Black Lotus. So Black Lotus just kept going up and up for a long time. I can't remember when they put in that change originally in Classic, where they increased the spawn rate of Black Lotus and such. But for a long time, Black Lotus was like, oh, you have spare money? Put it in Black Lotus. It'll just go up forever. And that was basically the way you made money. You just always put everything in Black Lotus. But yeah, it was it's interesting. They're making a lot of solid changes. Still, again, it's not enough to really make me consider Season of Mastery as a serious thing. But I know people who are excited about it, and I think it'll do well at the start because it's a new server and it's something new, and people will check it out. But we'll see the longevity of it, as I always say, as how it goes.
It's going to be so different too, because I feel like there's so much to do, right? There's going to be so much to do. Like, you would need so much gold. You would need to get your Devil. It's very front loaded in terms of the workload, right? Yeah. That you want to do to like get biz.
Because if you want to get 0.5, you got to farm the gear to get the 0.5 first, and then you can go do the 0.5. It's a lot of farming.
And it's a lot of money too to do that. You have to do it in order to get the good pieces near the end. Farming for GM weapons is fucking really hard. I actually like contemplate rolling on a low pop server with a lot of like good players who want to pre-made all the time. Just like make a pre-made like PvP group and then actually transfer over to the server that I actually want to play on to like later, right?
Yeah.
If I was like really being hardcore about that shit, right? Because it'd be pretty quick to get my PvP weapon on a server that I was just like, oh, I don't have to like play as hard, etc. It's like lower population. There's like a group of us 10 that control the whole thing. Like, great, right? So, I mean, there would be less people in your bracket and shit, but it would probably be easier to do if you wanted to play TBC simultaneously instead of literally just fucking kill yourself playing Classic and ranking again. Yeah, ranking. Oh man, anyone who's gonna rank twice, I don't know how you do it, man. Like, but here's the thing: the ranking twice, it'll be worth it this time because it would be worth it this time.
I mean, you basically do use those swords for the entire game, basically. Because like, when do you, if you get the two swords, when do you even replace them? What, like? I guess you replace them in the final phase of Season Mastery when you go to Nax. Then you finally replace the swords.
They're pretty much equivalent to the main hand is at least equivalent to AQR / I think a little bit worse, maybe better. I don't remember. I think it's a little bit better. Because your progression was like, Brutality Blade and Brutality Blade and the fucking Viscag. Then you go CTS and Maladath, and then you end up with or CTS Brutality, like if
depending on
depending on all that shit. And then you end up going to AQR with no like really good offhand for the most part. You basically just kind of use like CTS or anything that you have. Then you end up going 12. No. Fuck you, Beatty. That's my Fury Prot Warrior used Kel'Thuzar main hand until THC, until Thunder Fury until Thunder Fury. That's what you do. You get Thunder Fury offhand.
That's true.
That's what you do. Oh my god!
It's
how
your
can
chance
I forget?
to get Thunder Fury again, which will be more rare.
DPS on High Warlord is higher than AQR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're pretty similar. Pretty similar. High Warlord and AQR. Yeah, so literally, if you rank to 14 as a rogue, you just don't take gear until AQ. You start replacing your with tier pieces, and then Nax you finally replace your weapons. So
It's
literally
just for
like
the
phase
entire
one,
game,
you're
yeah.
done. Phase one, you're done.
Literally just. Yeah, actually, if you could actually get like all the gear you needed on a rogue until like phase 6. Yeah, pretty much. You could take like some things in phase 5. Yeah, damn.
Yeah. Oh,
And then nothing for a long time. Yeah, a lot. Like the fact that you have access to this stuff. Ravencrest Legacy. Oh, no. I farmed a lot of green dragons. Like a lot of green dragons. Like we're talking like fucking days of green dragons. Yeah, Beatty's like, we don't talk about Ravencrest. Because I was using Kelsarar for the
did you
longest time.
never
And I was
get
like,
it?
I was like, maybe I'll farm Ravencrest. We never fucking got it. The one we never got it. Like we farmed for days, like weeks. In terms of days, I mean like actual playtime. Like we would spend 8-hour sessions, fucking trying to get it. We got to the point where we're like, do I abandon the quest and start over? Is it fucking bugged? Like, what do I do? Because it was so bad. We farmed for over months. Yes, Beatty was there. We farmed for fucking months for that part of the quest line. It was just fucking terrible. Beatty was. I'm on the Green Dragon part still. Yeah, it was really bad. It was. Really
I remember one of my guildies in progress at the time. Because he was one of the ones who was super hardcore and wanted to min-max all his gear. And he was doing the stupid green dragon part. Every day he'd be like, hey guys, anyone want to go kill some green dragons? Some green dragons?
No.
It's like, no one wants to go do that.
It's really bad too, because like some of the green dragon points were just really far from like alliance hubs for the most part. Like especially the most annoying one. That was me and Zyrene. Yeah, we were both like, "Hey, green dragons! Anybody for green dragons? Green dragons! Green dragons! You like green dragons? You like green dragons?" And then people would come with us. I'd feel so bad because there would be enough people to farm them like pretty quickly, and we would still not get them. And then you'd sit there waiting for respawns. It was so bad. God, the Faerlina one. Well, the Faerlina one was actually one that I got. I got the Faerlina one, and then I think like it took us weeks to get the one from Hinterlands, and then we never got the one from Ashenvale because there's just too little mobs there. It was just like it was really bad. It was god awful. We were just so unlucky.
Yeah, so people are saying in chat how they think they like potential nerf to the 0.5 set just to make it a little bit even, but Blizzard's kind of like come out and said also that they're not doing any major class changes. So I don't know how that extends to the gear as well. But
I don't know.
They have said that they say here in their post that this is especially focused on warriors and rogues being better in long fights because they don't run out of mana. So the people are talking about how, it's going to be warriors and rogues all over again. Which, yeah, it is going to be. If you give warriors and rogues the rank 14 gear at the start, they're definitely going to be pumping like from the beginning for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the thing is like it's really tricky because they're basically releasing Season of Mastery, and a large portion of the people who are playing it are people who feel like they missed out the first time. But that's a lot of the people who are playing it, and at the same time they don't want to change so much that the people have a totally different experience because the classes don't perform the same way they were back then. Even though, honestly, yeah, Rogue's probably insane if they have 0.5 tier set and rank 14 weapons. But yeah, they pretty much said they're not making any major changes. No major changes to the classes.
Because there's enough changes already with like no world buff. I guess there's like, no world buffs and like debuffs limits and stuff like that. And buff limits will be enough to shift some things. But
yeah. I mean, it's already interesting as far as like if you're actually interested in Classic. All these changes do make it kind of interesting in that it's new, and like you said, it's super front loaded. You're not gonna be running out of stuff to do for a long time in phase 1. There's gonna be a lot of stuff for you to do. You may not have much to do after that, maybe, but at least in phase 1, you're gonna be very, very busy. And honestly, I would be really interested to see how bad the Tidal Charm farm is in Season of
Ooh.
Mastery, because as anyone knows, Tidal Charm, one of the most OP PvP items in Classic, because it's literally a ranged 3-second stun from your trinket, and that was always the most contested item. The spawn time, literally the spawn time for the Tidal Charm is literally days. It's like, I forgot what was. It's been so long since I did it, but I think it was a day and a half was the respawn time, something like that. And it took me, I think, 2 weeks to get it on my first character back in the day. So,
Wow.
and that was when it wasn't heavily farmed. That was just drop rate, because it has a 50% chance to drop. And if you get unlucky, you might have to kill that mob 3 times. And he's literally on like a 1.5 day respawn time with layers and everything. So I'd be very interested to see. That's the other mafia that went on in Classic. There was the Devil Soul Mafia, and then there was the Tidal Charm Mafia, where everyone would like try to band together and control those. And then they were selling them for like 5-10k gold each or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
That's nutty.
Yeah, it's actually one of the most fun camps for me, because I think whenever I think Tidal Charm, I think, oh, this is like EverQuest. This is like those EverQuest quests where like the mob will spawn on the 4th Monday of the month under the full moon at 2 p.m. And if you miss that time, you gotta wait a month or something like that, because it's like the old school style of MMO camping where stuff was super brutal and super competitive like that. But at the same time, it's
remember that.
It's literally where the definition poop sock came in, because this is when people start poop socking. You poop in a sock because you can't leave your computer. You got to be always there, because as soon as you leave, the mob's gonna spawn.
Yeah, I remember camping mobs in Final Fantasy 11, dude. Like, there's always people camping that shit, and it was hours of respawn. God,
it's crazy.
Shit.
I mean, in EverQuest, literally, it was so hard that people made full-time livings just doing that, because EverQuest had a whole system where if you got one item in the quest, you could turn it in. The last person to turn in the final item of the quest got the item. So you could sell quest items to other people by turning in before them. And there were literally people who made full-time income just farming all these stupid mobs that would spawn like once every 2 days or something. And then they would sell the quest item to people who would pay the equivalent of Blizzard tokens for them, basically. And then they would sell the tokens. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Old school MMOs, man. Fun, but you have to poop sock to actually enjoy them, because like no one has the time to do that. No one has the time to do that stuff.
No,
yeah,
it's just, that is insane. Oh God, that stuff's just, I don't even want to think about camping mobs for so much time, dude. It's just,
Dude, there's something about me with that old school mentality thing. Oh man, that would be kind of fun. I just have to become.
That would be fun, sitting there and like, when's it gonna spawn?
Yeah,
Oh boy!
I just gotta become a multi-millionaire, because no one else has that much time to sit around in WoW or any MMO, just waiting for the mob to spawn. But the rush, Cyrene, the rush when you see that mob finally spawn.
Yeah, I spend days for seconds of for seconds of adrenaline. Which, wow,
Yeah.
Pog. I think all that low, not worth the high. Not worth the high.
All right. Well, I think that's about all I got for this week. You got anything else, Cyrene?
Nope.
All right.
Nope. That's it.
That's it. No new rogue comps this week.
Nope. I think we found the perfect one last week.
Yeah,
I think it's unreplaceable.
All right, guys.
The best.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week, maybe, hopefully.
See ya.